Guys, we're live. It is Sunday. It's Sunday afternoon for me. It's 1 o'clock. Nice to see you guys. Um, I'm live 3 times a day, so everyone knows exactly where to find me. And
Shifi Auto Stores.
let's get rid of that ad. And I see, Jewel, I see you left a comment. I appreciate that. Are you, before I read your intro, as we wait for some members to show up, are you building your YouTube channel? Or are you using it as part of your?
I have a YouTube channel, yeah. I just make course lessons on it, but I illustrate them. So I just read them, but I give a visual experience.
Okay. When after we're done with the live stream, I'll link up with your channel, and we can add that to the description so people can find you. And we'll talk about that as well. I love the platform YouTube's provided to be able to be used as a teaching tool.
Amazing.
And you know, you can learn a little bit about the course, so then you can watch a cat video, or you could watch a you can watch a dog or something, or a movie clip. It's all in one place. So friends, I'm sorry I will not be able to say hi to everyone individually as we're with our guests, but you know that I'll be thinking of you. Feel free to ask questions. Julia, do you have a preference of how we do questions
No.
as we go, or towards the end?
If I need it to be at the end, I'll say so, but I'm open. Spirit guides.
Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, we are with my new friend, fellow course student, as well as mentor and ordained minister. Julia is you might need to help me with some of the words, Upledger-certified.
Yeah.
Advanced Diplomat, CranioSacral therapist, and we'll dive into that in just a few minutes. Somato, emotional, did I get Somato right?
Yeah, Somato. It's really, I'm a somatic therapist as well.
Okay.
So
we do some somatic practices here to help calm. Emotional release facilitator. This one is going to interest a lot of people here. Esoteric, advanced energy healer, and certified teacher. And I love your description of embodiment. What is embodiment? And embodiment actually has nothing to do with being a body. Rather, it means learning to rest our awareness in the quiet inner center, deep within our one self, timeless and whole, anchored vertically through all worlds, all dreams, as the grounded presence of pure love, the heart of oneness. It means knowing ourselves entirely as spirit while still seemingly walking in the world. Embodiment, embodied mind, heart, wholeness, and oneness through private sessions, retreats, and study groups, meditation at long distances. Our friend Julia is in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Beautiful part of the world. And well, I don't know where to dive in. There's so much good stuff. But let's start with A Course in Miracles, and how did you find the course?
Well, I'll start earlier than that, because that explains how I found the course. I had a lot of mystical experiences as a child, so I was one of those kids that didn't fit in very well, and I had extreme anxiety, numerous challenges, emotional, physical, etc. And I was quite suicidal when I was about 4, in that area of time. And then things started getting better at the age of going to school, and music and love. It's like I had permission to love. And because of my age, I was a flower child during the time of flower children. So it was okay to be all into love and peace. So I flourished in that. And at around age 10, 11, 12, 13, in there, kind of that tweeny time, I started having direct journeys upwards. to talk to a teacher and to disappear in, it was blue light, formless. And it was like, I believe now that I was going to where I had been in between lives, like a station. This makes sense in terms of Gary Renard's descriptions that Art and Persa gave him on that little trip between lives. This was like a very spacey, like to get there, I went straight up into space and traveled on the sound current and geometries, and would end up at this beautiful landscape of pure presence where a voice held me and gave me direct recall of who I was and what's true, what's real. And then I would come back again into my little girl body, and I would be seeing like the real world the through the form, and had a very chaotic family. Now I would say very creative, but very intense. And I would just laugh. I couldn't take any of it seriously. All the arguments, the posturing, the show offing, the beating an argument to death, and I just found it hilarious. So I had these experiences of seeing through my heart, the oneness in it all, and knowing directly that we were not bodies, that we all knew who we really were, and it wasn't this pretend thing that was going on. So I had like really experiences of the happy laughter and the gentleness of our reality, in awareness of the dream figures moving about, and also a sense that it was all pre-filmed, that it was like watching a movie, and there wasn't um, it wasn't yeah, like, it was a film strip and you were just witnessing it, but you weren't in it. So I had a
Right.
lot of those metaphysical, mystical experiences pretty young.
When you did finally get to the course, I don't want to jump ahead,
Mhm.
but it just
Yeah,
made me think that you got these early lessons
I did.
of the course from the course.
Mhm.
When you did get to the course, did you find yourself smiling and nodding your head and saying,
Oh, totally. Totally. Because I became a spiritual person, of course, all through my life and studied many paths. And Jesus, my first experience directly with him was when I was 37, I think. Yeah. And 37 or 38. And I realized that's the same voice that was meeting me in that absolute blue peace and wisdom and love and oneness. And then it was still another 10 years before I discovered that that's the same character who dictated the course. So when I came to the course, I already had a lot of esoteric awareness and mystical experience. So when I read the course, most people, or many people, I should say, have to understand it quite intellectually, whereas I understood it um, already from a quite not that I was fully embodied by any means, but from a more embodied awareness, direct um, experience. So I got to bypass the intellectual understanding of the course, which and the course answered the question, why are we here? Because that never made any sense. I understood that it was a dream, but I didn't understand, why are we on the wheel of suffering? What did I do? You know, because I had still lots of guilt in my mind, as we're all healing and clearing that unconscious guilt. And mine was, what on earth did I do that, I am punishing myself so badly for it? And how, and at that point, I still believed that I was going to go to some other place, some other planetary system and be happy. And that, I still had that belief in hierarchy of illusions.
right,
And uh, and then when I realized what the course was saying, it's like, oh, it's the whole thing. It's the whole time and space. It's not like there's levels of that something to aspire to within it. I can let the whole thing go, because there was so much paradox. As long as I was trying to live in a partially non-dual paradigm, um, I couldn't get the whole teaching, even though I'd had many direct experiences of the whole teaching. It didn't make sense. So the course was the answer to my prayer, which was why. Why
We,
do I seem to be here?
we love to make parts of it real, don't we?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
especially the things that, well, I was going to say, especially the things that we like, but also we love to make the things that we don't like just as much real.
Yes. It's amazing. It's, I love that. I call him Yeshua, encourages us to be specific with our forgiveness, because otherwise I don't get to all those grievances and how sneaky they are, all those attack thoughts, and how desperately I want, um, I don't want to look at the places I don't want to look at yet, how defended I am against um, my fears that I'm not good enough, my fears that somebody else is worse or could hurt me, or I could get sick, or blah blah blah, or somebody wronged me, or I wronged them, and on it goes, and all the idols that we use to
Would you
hide.
say that your healing work, excuse me, is just a way of bringing these issues of forgiveness to the surface so that now that they can be, that ultimately everything you do is forgiveness?
Everything is forgiveness, and forgiveness it can look like different things, like Christ's vision is forgiveness. Resting in God is forgiveness. I think everything the course is teaching in it is another face of forgiveness, but the actual blessing, the actual affirmation that truth is true and nothing else is true, and that I forgive myself for imagining blah, blah, blah. I forgive myself for wanting to use my brother, my sister as um, as a symbol of my terror of God.
Right. I was going to ask if you could, for anyone who might stumble in who not doesn't know how the course presents forgiveness. We talk about it all the
Yeah,
time, but
yeah,
everyone has. I love hearing how other people
yeah.
will offer it because it might just resonate with that one person who
Mm.
hasn't yet. It hasn't clicked. So
Well,
when you
there's a
talk forgiveness,
couple of beautiful things come to mind. And the one is, it's often quoted, but it's a beautiful expression for me of forgiveness. Forgiveness is still, because forgiveness is coming from what I already am. Like it's reminding me of what the truth is. So forgiveness is still, quietly does nothing, because what I am doesn't need to do anything. Forgiveness is still and quietly does nothing. It merely looks, because I appear to be perceiving. It merely looks and waits and judges not. So I'll say the whole thing. Forgiveness is still and quietly does nothing. It merely looks and waits and judges not.
beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. Because I can't judge when I'm resting in the stillness, when I've identified with the light in my mind, when I've surrendered um, all the blah blah blah, all the surface thoughts, and clicked myself into being one with God, forgiveness occurs, because I can't judge from that place. Yeah. Right mindedness, to use a course term for it. Yeah.
Well, we're on the subject of forgiveness. A question from a friend Mustafa says, "What is the turning point that makes directed forgiveness at the formal level turn into comprehensive forgiveness at the substantive level that realizes that nothing at all happened?"
What was the first part of that question? What was the first line?
Uh, what is the turning point that makes directed forgiveness at the formal level
Mm-hmm.
turn into a
Well,
comprehensive? Good.
yeah. The thing is that, because, like, I'm going to speak in course terms here, because there's already what we would call a divine plan, or salvation's plan, a plan for the undoing of duality or polarity and the dream of suffering. It's already in place, and so it's the spirit that looks after where the forgiveness flows through all time and space. So when I make the choice, even if I don't feel the effects of it or see the effects of it yet in a comprehensive way, it is working in in the multidimensional time space matrix. And it is undoing and literally dissolving situations that I can't see that are keeping me locked in fear. So fear binds the world, forgiveness sets it free. So that is undoing, even if I don't know that it's comprehensive yet, it is working. So whether or not I feel it 100%, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I will, and sometimes it'll just be like, oh my God, it's so hard to say these words right now. But I'm choosing, it's my decision that makes the miracle occur, the miracle of forgiveness. And the more I decide, the more the dream is just opening up through all time and space. It's just becoming really soft, softer. And hidden landmines buried all through the time space matrix are releasing their pressure, even if I don't know it.
Do you find when you're doing your uh, your work, your healing work with people, that things might come up that are not quite ready to deal with
Yeah,
their forgiveness?
absolutely. All the time. Yeah.
How do you guide them through that?
Well, um, I'm just going to take my glasses off so I'm not trying to focus on the little screen so much because it puts me out here instead of back here where I'm
Right.
in my God self. Uh, when I'm working, I'm often aware. I can often see stories of time that are layered there. It's like a very thick sandwich. You know, when you look at sedimentary rock and it's just pressed ages
Mhm.
of time. Well, it's like that. Our body mind stories, each of us, um, through countless lifetimes, has all these layers. And often I'm aware of layers moving quite a ways down from where, like, it's like music. So there's octaves. And I can feel and sense stories that are softening and loosening up down there. And often I'll have images. So, an example is a lovely client who's come for many years, like 2 decades or more. And in the first, say, 10 years, I often saw many pictures of very intense situations to do with war, to do with ships, to do with feeling responsible for huge undertakings. She wasn't really able to see them yet, but after her mind kept clearing more and more and more and more, then she could look at them. And that when they did arise up, they rose up really gently and easily and gracefully and lovingly because they'd already been healing all that time. So by the time they became conscious, they were no longer scary. Whereas in earlier years, there was too much there. It wasn't kind or gentle or in the highest good to land in them consciously. But they were healing the whole time. And I think we all have certain, specialties. And one of my specialties is I have a very developed awareness of the central presence, the center of the circle, the center of um, the vertical axis. And I'm aware of, like, through my own, I'm in everybody's, and I'm in all things, all time. So I have a window into um, we would call other perspectives, points of perspectives experience through time. And that's partly how I have this. It's a very kind of visceral, not visceral, but it's a very embodied awareness of the undoing of the dream through um, through the matrix of time and space.
So
Yeah.
very often, we know as course students that everything happens at the level of the mind, that it's
Hmm.
a course in cause and not effect.
Yeah.
Um, but what we sometimes forget is that the body is appearing in the mind.
Yeah.
Therefore, doing work on the body also means that you're working. You're not just working at the level of effect, you're still working at the level of cause.
Yeah. Exactly, Eric. You said that so beautifully.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's absolutely so true. Yeah. The body is like a projection of beliefs, of a thought system. And so we're in the mind when we're undoing. Like the body, on the one hand, we think we're in it and we think we're a person in it. But on the other hand, it's just this projected field of calls for love. So of course we're going to meet it gently and lovingly and soothingly and kindly, nourish. I mean, the whole point is to be nourished because you're really being nourished by our oneness. So when
And
we're working on what we call the body, it's the love that is undoing the terror that the body is identified with.
and as
And
we mentioned backstage before we came up, that maybe the lesson of forgiveness is the body. Maybe at some point in time, this lifetime or another, uh, we had a very unhealthy relationship with our body,
yeah.
and this is our lesson. And
Mhm.
we're
Yeah.
very often tempted to bypass.
Yeah. Yes. Well, there is so much. Oh my gosh. It's hard to put words to, but because I'm a craniosacral therapist and I therefore like craniosacral is the um it refers to the cerebral spinal fluid that flows through the brain and the spine. And they're really literally within us. And I'm talking physically here, but I'm also just talking symbolically. We are made of water and tides. We are just the same as all the elements. And within us are these amazing structures of cleansing and intelligence, because we're all spirit, really. There is no body ever in anything. But craniosacral helps soothe and purify and soothing again, nurture this whole waterworks system that resets us into an esoteric relationship with our, I would say, with our divinity. And um, that system really dovetails with all that is spiritual about us and about the metaphysics that have projected time and space. So when I'm working a body, I'm working the metaphysics of the mystical um, undoing of density. But it appears, and depending on who's on my table, it appears I'm working on a body and I use biological terms and I'm not inappropriate in terms of helping a person. But my point is where I'm going with all this is that I am helping a person come back to their body. I'm helping ground them. I'm always helping realign from a relationship that is dissociated and horizontal with a relationship that is vertical and resting. And the cranial system is fantastic for releasing all this resistance and terror that is held in the tissues and nervous system of our so called bodies. And that level of holding that people have in their bodies because of the fear, the unconscious fear of God or fear of that separation is real, even though we fight for it all the time, we're terrified, really, of of the punishment that we believe is coming for for imagining that we're separate, and that is held in the body. And so there are stories all through the body that relate to these fears.
Would you say that this is the basis of all of our addictions, all of our fears, all of our anxiety?
Yeah, I would. I would. It's all, and I wasn't even aware of my fear of God until probably the last, I mean, I would say it's probably only been maybe 7 years that I've actually had awareness that it's the fear of God that all my fears are. It's taken that long to uh, be able to own my terror of that separation is real.
And that's important.
It's yeah, it's really important, but it didn't make sense for a long time. I'm like, I have a great relationship with God. I trust, like I have so much trust in God, and I did. But at different levels, you open up another, you open
Right.
up another manhole, and there's a big sewer down there that you haven't seen before, that screams about your unworthiness and the fear of bad things coming to get you because of your this ontological fear that separation is real, which it isn't. But yes, so all addiction is just a defense to try to cope with that fear that we all share. And we're all addicted to different things. So sometimes addiction looks like drugs or alcohol or sex or buying things or gambling or something that we can kind of call it something. But we're addicted every single moment that we're living to something, to some false idol or another.
Our thoughts, addicted to our thoughts, our
Oh,
beliefs,
yes.
the false presentation that we offer the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to skip ahead to a question that because it deals with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And this is from a friend. He says, I'm still just a scared kid trapped in a big body. Through self-medicating, I hurt my body a lot. Not sure if it will forgive me.
Oh, yes. Well, forgiveness is certain, but it's not the body that actually, it's you forgiving yourself. And so I forgive myself for imagining that my body wouldn't forgive me. I forgive myself for imagining that that judgment exists. I forgive myself for endorsing judgment. It's when love is all pervasive and is what I am. So, one of the things that I think is really helpful in healing, and they call it family systems now. When I learned it, it was called subpersonalities. But to get to know all these different figures, archetypal figures in our psyche, and it makes so much sense then, because if I was speaking to your friend who's posed that question, I would get that voice to talk who believes it's the body or the voice and the body. I could get a dialogue going between all the characters who are invested in that thought and have a conversation. And it also, sometimes with some people, it's helpful to even, where is that voice coming from? Like the voice, the body that won't forgive me, where is that body? Where is the focal point of that voice? So it just helps bring awareness, and it helps us get behind the beliefs. It helps us get back into the witness state so that we're able to meet these different calls for help and concerns and worries. Not in and that is the love. That's the Holy Spirit that's never judging us.
I'm glad you said that because I was about to say, and we do it with love, right?
Yes. As soon
Because
as we get out of the judgment, we're automatically in the love.
because that scared little boy that was mentioned there is in need of love.
That's all. Yeah. And the love is already here. Yeah. And that beautiful child needs to be soothed. Like I would say soothing. I do it. I mean, I work both virtually with people, but I use my hands still when I'm working virtually. So it's as if I'm working in person. And I would, for somebody who's working with inner children, inevitably I'd be connecting the crown and the high octaves of self with the heart, with the second chakra, and with the heart of the earth. And those voices, that type of voice usually comes from second chakra. It's quite typical to have the scared kids there. Could also be coming from the throat. And I would just help that love be met, be held like a baby by the truth that's already here. And that's how my body is used to help others. Like I give over and I'm a bridge for that love. And
We have
so helping ground that child in his own verticality and help him rest back where he can receive that love. Because if he's like focused out here, he's going to be in judgment and fear.
and
But
the
when
great thing
you
is,
turn the wheel back, he'll receive it automatically.
and they don't have to even understand. You're doing the work.
I
They're
and
doing
I
the
don't have to
healing.
understand either. I don't have
It's
to
all
understand. It's like
coming.
music. It's great to have musical theory, but actually, when it comes down to it, you just play. You know, you just and the music comes through, but you're not making the music. You're a vehicle for the music's already there.
It's funny because you had said when I asked you, what to talk about, and your exact words were, "Let's play."
Yeah.
and I love that. We have a similar question from our friend Evan. He says, I grew up in chaos, and it's been imprinted in me and as a distraction to hide what was actually going on. How do I deal with this as an adult? Because it's keeping me stuck.
Growing up in chaos. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I personally, I would try to get some help for the nervous system, because that chaos keeps the nervous system really, preoccupied with danger, and you don't know how to land. And so there's so many healers now, or therapists, who work with the nervous system to help regulate it. There's lots of different traditions that help regulate it and rebalance it and calibrate it. For me, CranioSacral was how I got to that, but there's many other ways as well. And because we have to find the stillness within, so that chaos see, the stillness is within all the chaos. And my my early life was very chaotic too, and very like a lot of physical. I don't use the word abuse anymore, because it's got judgment on it. But there was a lot of physical manifestations on a daily basis, really, for me, and that created a lot of turmoil and identification with chaos. Just life was a battlefield, and uh, and I was crazy. I was crazy in it, and it was crazy all around me. But I needed to find. So here's part two in answer to that. I needed to find the first. I needed to find the light. We could call it the light of the soul. I needed to find. I needed to get my crown open so that I could receive incoming light that way, or incoming love. I'm speaking, this changes over time, but the key is to get this open, because most of us are very tightly closed here. And not to go up and stay up there, but the point is to open it and breathe it downward, so that the me who's lived in the chaos gets to feel the light and love and wisdom that's ever present. And with time, it opens up more and more and more all through me. There's also the equal experience of bringing it up, the love, the light from the earth, and feeling the safety of being held by the unchanging presence of the above and the below. They don't change. In truth, they're the same. We think they're very different, but they're actually identical. The top, the bottom, no matter how high you go or how deep you go, it opens up in the sameness of love, oneness. So I would recommend practices that explore this openness. And you can always start with saying, just to whatever, however one likes to call in source. You can say higher self, you can say soul, you can call on a master or angels. However it works for you is individual and changes over time. But show me, teach me, guide me. Teach me about the truth. Help me, guide me to bring the truth to the chaos.
Is,
Be
is
in
this
charge.
is this where you might offer, because you mentioned calming the chaos? Is this
Yeah.
where you might offer a somatic exercise to help bring calm to the body and the mind?
Um, yeah. I mean, I would do that more earlier. I don't do that so much now, but I know that there are thousands and thousands of wonderful therapists who do. So yes, the answer would be yes. Yeah, calming practices. But the key here is to give it over to my inner wisdom, to my higher self, to the Christ mind, or the Holy Spirit in course terms, to be in charge, so that I become a little child receiving, so that my doer isn't trying to facilitate it. Because if it does, it's going to be out here again, trying to stay in charge. I want to turn the wheel back on my doer, my protector controller, and so that I can receive. So the show me, teach me, guide me is very helpful for um, creating the conditions where I have a direct experience and the divine shows me and teaches me, and I learn to trust the divine. I learn to trust the truth. Yeah, because
We
otherwise,
all
yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry?
We often think of ourselves as, what can I do to heal? What can I do to forgive?
Yeah,
And that leads to a level of confusion that we're the doer.
that's right. Ask for help. Yeah, ask for help. And the teacher is within. The teacher is within us.
We have a friend asked, what archetype do you currently focus on for your own spiritual development?
Good question. The Christ. The Christ. Yeah, the archetype. I've had different archetypes work through me for different stages of my healing. And some of the key ones have been, well, Yeshua was big. I was a Buddhist for many years. Um, and then different masters showed up at different times to help me. White Buffalo Woman was important for a long time. She was really great. I love her. And then they just integrate, and they're not so much an outer teacher anymore as an inner presence that is all the same. And um, so the archetype at this point would just be my one self, the oneness would be the archetype. But I still call on Yeshua, even though I don't experience him the way I used to. Like I used to have a really, I would call it a close rapport with him, and I don't so much at this stage. And it's not that I've lost it. It's just it's integrated a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Our friend who had asked about the addiction with and forgiving the body had asked about your own field, your own education, and I had mentioned before at the beginning. We read this. You'd like me to read it, or do you want to give a recap of?
You mean what kind of training do I have? Is that kind
Uh-huh.
of where the question's going?
I think
Yeah.
so.
I mean, my original training was in journalism, so and then I got into photography, and but the esoteric healing, I became a student for the first 4 years, and then a teacher for kind of another 4 years or so. Yeah, at Esoteric Healing School that doesn't exist anymore. But it was an amazing training. It was really ancient wisdom teachings, but it with an embodiment focus. And my beautiful teacher had a very powerful connection with Yeshua, and he channeled through her much of what the course is channeling. And so I got used to hearing that voice and hearing the purity of his teaching. And anytime it would seem to get watered down, I always knew that wasn't true. I always knew that that was a relative thing, but to aim for the pure Christ. So that I think is the most important thing about my training is that early on I learned to go for the gold and not to get distracted by all the other realms, the astral realms and the, blah, 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 blah. There's so many layers. So that was key for me. And around a short time after I started training in that, and I became a practitioner in it pretty quickly. I Somebody told me that I should learn craniosacral therapy, that it would enhance my practice and really ground it and anchor it. And so I did. So craniosacral therapy through the Upledger Institute is where I learned it. There's a biodynamic cranial is one that a lot of people are studying now. And that is this nervous system regulation and somatic release work that again is working through a vertical system. When we get the vertical right, then the love extends naturally, and the healing and the undoing of trauma happens naturally. I think that's a real key point to realize. Yeah. So that's sort of where I'm coming from. And out of that, I became a minister. And when I discovered the course, I then quickly became a course teacher because I already really got it. Like I really understood a lot of it. And then I've been thrilled with all that I didn't understand ever since. But that was 20 years ago when I became a course teacher. And that came when Gary's book came out, The Disappearance of the Universe. And it was interesting because, again, I didn't have an interest in the course. And I already had a strong inner Christ, very close rapport with his guidance all the time. I mean, it's the only way I knew anything. And I had asked why, why I knew that all these partly non-dual beliefs were helpful, but they weren't true. And I knew I couldn't teach them to others because I knew they weren't true. So I asked, I want the highest truth and I want to understand the highest and the deepest. I know what oneness is, but why are we not in it? Like why am I dreaming a dream of separation? And so the course was the answer, and it came through reading The Disappearance of the Universe. And what was neat was I had an aside is I had, through a very strange circumstance, met a woman many years earlier, and I was on her mailing list, and she sent out a notice about The Disappearance of the Universe being published in 2003. And I just, it was like, bing, get that book. Get that book. And I put it on my desktop, and I postponed it for a while. But I knew, and it was so cool because I didn't really have any other reason to know this woman. But we had our paths had crossed through unusual means many years earlier, and I'm certain it was so that I would get that email.
I picked up the course and I'd read references to it through the late 80s. I've read Marianne Williamson's book in the early 90s. I bought the course in about 1993, and I finally finished the workbook and the text 2007. And it took me a while. And people often say, so it took you that long to get it? And I think my answer is no. I think I got it too much. And I was not ready for that level of truth that I was being hit with.
I get a big yes on that. Yeah, it's too much.
It is. It is. And it was Disappearance of the Universe that made me say, okay, I am ready.
Yeah.
And I dove in. I was telling, we had Liz Cronkite yesterday, and that, when I finished the workbook in 2007, I dusted off my hands. I said, okay, now I'm done. I'm awakened. I'm ready to go. And not knowing how much there was to unpack and unpack and unpack.
Yeah.
When you, as you find as a mentor, do you find that you're still working with people who've been on the path studying the course for a while?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think that, personally, I think it's very rare to awaken fully. But I think we're going to be studying the course for lifetimes. Certainly a couple of lifetimes. Most people. I don't think most people go all the way in, in 20 years or 40 years or whatever. They make enormous differences. But again, I'm very aware of the multidimensional nature of the dream of time and space. So my work I'm doing now is benefiting me in another life. I don't care whether, I have to remember, it doesn't matter whether it seems to be benefiting me right now and whether I'm going to be enlightened by the time I'm 80. I am 80 in another life and I'm enlightened,
Right.
Right. And so that takes me off the hook, and yes, I think there is so much that we don't realize is still in the basements of our unconscious mind. And again, this is a gentle course. This is a gentle awakening. It's kind, and the ego is not kind. The ego is a killer, and the ego wants us to fear what's in the contents of the mind. But the Holy Spirit's plan makes sure that we get it in the kindest way. We get it in the softest, most gentle way, and we're not overwhelmed by what we're getting. Even when we're having a severe ego attack, the gentleness is still present with us and reminding us constantly of the truth. And that, again, that settles the extreme reactions that we would otherwise be having. The miracle is so powerful. The holy instant is so powerful. And it's just that change of mind from listening to ego thoughts, which are already there, pre-programmed, to asking for support from truth.
Thank you for that the gentleness, because
Mhm.
talk about this often, that when we mention the ego
Mhm.
and we offer the description, uh, so many people are ready, and I always use the term suit up. They're ready to suit up, and well, I'm going after the ego. The
That's me.
battle is on.
You got it.
Yeah, and as you just said, it's the ego ready to suit up
Yeah,
and go into battle.
that's right.
And
Ego loves
who
a battle.
who wins?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and what I've become so aware of in my own, I see it in clients because, like I say, for me, working with a client is like playing an instrument, and or let's say you're tuning a piano, and you can hear what's. So if somebody has a thought, and there's a direct correlation to that thought in the body mind. There's a direct tension somewhere that has to do with that thought. So, same for myself. If I indulge my grievances, and this is a really fine point here between witnessing the contents of my unconscious mind and the ego's interpretation, witnessing versus making real. It's a very, very nuanced place. When I'm witnessing these places of horror and terror, I'm witnessing from the love. I'm witnessing from the heart of God. I'm witnessing from the gentleness, even if all there seems to be a lot of commotion or drama or conflict in what I'm witnessing.
We have a friend who asked, "How do you cleanse the mind?"
Well, personally, next time you get in the shower, pretend that the water that's coming down is light. It's the easiest way to cleanse the mind is to get your crown open. Uh, and you remember soft spots on a baby's head?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like cranial bones are really pliable and loose because this is the thousand petal lotus here. That's what's here is the thousand petal lotus. It's soft, and we could maybe look to dolphins and whales, their blowhole. Like identify with openness here, a flower to the sun. We have access here to cleansing, purification at all times. But we are so identified with perception and perceiving things that are all different from other things and changing all the time in our linear belief system that we are dissociated from this uh, glorious access to the Christ mind, which is going to cleanse all through us. So we want to get this open, turn on the faucet, say, take care of it, and breathe it in and send it all the way through the body. That's how I would answer that question around the decision to purify is the decision to let the Christ light that I am purify me. So
So
me as a
once
decision maker choosing the light of the Christ.
so once we make that decision, then whatever symbol for the light coming in uh,
Mhm.
would be helpful. Even washing our hands, we can imagine. Uh,
Yes. Yeah. Any symbol that we are inspired by. And if we miss one, we'll be given another. Yeah. I love that washing the hands. That's great. Yeah.
I like doing Ho'oponopono
Yes.
for
Uh-huh.
all kinds of taking a
Mhm.
shower, wash my hands, washing
Uh,
an apple before I eat it, making
uh,
my oatmeal, um,
uh,
and all of it just seems to connect me back to, you were saying cleansing the mind, cleansing the mind.
yeah.
Um, they use the example of a whiteboard,
Uh-huh.
and we wake up in the morning with everything written on it from the day before and the day before and the day before. We
Yeah.
go to bed with more on it, but we take that the magic eraser, that Ho'oponopono, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, and we're
Mhm.
just wiping it clean and wiping it clean as we go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. Beautiful. And the only change I would make in that, and I know people who do Ho'oponopono don't need to do this, but if I did it, I would say, rather than please forgive me, I would say, I forgive myself.
He has Joe Vitale has what he calls the fifth phrase, which
Yeah.
is "I forgive," or "I's," talking about the great I forgives.
I am.
And I forget his exact phrasing, but it's almost exactly like you just said, which is, just shows how these things are all connected. That there's the one mind, one idea. It's all shared.
And because we're not really here, and we've already healed the mind has already been healed. We're just in a kind of a seeming time lag of catching up to what's already healed and never existed in the first place. So the I just want to say, like, the opportunities for healing are so abundant because we're already healed. So it's like there's so many avenues of helpfulness meeting us in every moment to remind us that we're not here and that we're already healed.
It really is a classroom, isn't it?
Yes, it really is. I love waking up in the morning and setting my intention for the day. And a big one for me is I'm going to meet my forgiveness opportunities with joy and grace and trust, happiness. I'm going to meet, because some days are really, really going to have a lot of, you know, like,
Yes,
whoa.
just a lot.
A lot. It's a freeway day. And whereas another day will seem to be quite tranquil and lovely, and I can be lulled into thinking, oh, I'm so peaceful and calm, and all is so well. And that's great. Drink it up while it's happening. But on those, when you're getting head-on collisions coming, not to take them personally and just meet them really joyously. So that's a practice that I have, not to fear them and not to see myself as a victim of them and not to feel that I've failed because bad things are happening. The timeline is arising because it's an opportunity for healing timelines that it symbolizes that I can't see. You see, like if I have somebody, let's say, doesn't like me or is cruel or rude to me at the checkout counter, who knows. That could be something pretty seemingly small, but the underground symbols, like, it's a symbol of other stories that are much stronger, like when the whole village was raised, or the gang rape, or the stealing of all the money, or the burning of the whatever. Those stories are undoing through my willingness to not judge the cashier.
Right. We are never upset for the reason we think we are.
Never, never. But we can use the symbols to access the healing. So that's my job, is to remember that, and yeah, and joyfully receive the opportunities. Yeah. And notice, like, it's autumn right now, and I can see the leaves outside my window, and the tree is getting more barren. But I was just thinking as I looked at them that each leaf is like another ego thought, and they're shaking out there, saying, "Listen to me, listen to my interpretation, listen to my woe is me," and and just letting them go in the wind, because they're all they're all variations on the same pain, which is
Um,
the pain of imagined separation.
we've mentioned several times the ego.
Yeah,
Can you offer a brief explanation by what
sure.
are we talking about when we say ego?
Well, we're not speaking of it in Freudian terms. We're not talking about a healthy ego who gets us through the world. We're talking about a thought system of separation that's very attractive, because it promises that we can be our own boss and do our own thing and have specialness, and um, and hide from what we really are. And it's the seduction in it is that God won't find us. Like, we'll be able to get away from our terror that we've lost God. So at its most basic, when people who are in the course use the word sin, guilt, and fear, sin means separation. The only sin, there's no sin, there's no wrongdoing. The only wrongdoing is a thought, in original thought in the mind, that separation could be possible, that I could separate from heaven, from what I really am, that's still in reality, it's still happening, and I'm still one in God in heaven. But this imagined seductive belief that I could do my own thing and be something else. Out of that comes the universe of time and space as a hiding place to separate and do my own thing in, and get to have a special body to to worship instead of the truth of my oneness that I haven't lost in reality. So the course, when the course uses capitalization, it's always referring to the mind, the heaven, kingdom of heaven, the true self, one in God, and exactly like God, an extension of God and creation, which we really can't conceive of here, but these are words pointing at pointing at the concept of heaven, kingdom of heaven. And when the course uses small, like no capitalization, it's talking about all the things that seem to be occurring outside of heaven. So that's a distinguishing piece for understanding what the course is talking about, because it takes a long time to understand the vocabulary of the course. I think, it takes years.
It does.
Yeah.
I always, the word that always comes to mind when I talk about the ego is insidious. That it's so underlying, so pervasive, sneaky.
So
But
sneaky.
it's not. The one word I don't like to use
Mhm.
is it's not evil. This
No.
isn't something that we're trying to eradicate. We're
Mhm.
not battling it. We're not trying to
Mhm.
even erase it.
Yeah. We're just recognizing it isn't true. Yeah. We're stepping back from our identification with it. So I
Um,
love the lesson. I can't remember what number it is. Might be 110 or something. I have no idea suddenly, but I rest in God is a key lesson for stepping out of identification with the ego and just resting in God. The early lessons in around 41, 43, 45, where Yeshua or the Holy Spirit is helping us get in touch with the light in our mind, and it continually saying, sink down, sink back, come back into the foundation, the unchanged. He's teaching us there's a place in our mind to relate to where we will be fed with experiences of our oneness. That's the central column of light. To you, the yogi, the antakarana, the shushumya, it's not in the body. Like that, the thing is that our ego mind wants to make esoteric things be about a body, and they're not. They're just undoing the projected metaphysics of the idea of separation and allowing, if you will, the great rays to shine out of all the splits in the mind that created the matrix of time and space. So in the course, we are identifying with my mind. The mind that believes it's separated is accessible to all of us because we're all that mind. And all the rest of it in the course doesn't really matter. The course
right.
isn't a teaching in relative duality. It's a teaching in pure non-duality to get us back to the pure non-dual reality that we're still actually in.
I do want to talk about that too. I want to talk about
Mhm.
non-duality. Um, we have a question from our friend Soulstars. What state and setting of the ego get us through the world?
What state and setting
Yes.
of the ego get us through the world? The ego pretends to get us through the world. I want to, I'll speak for myself. I want to give myself back to the Holy Spirit to guide me through the world. So that beautiful prayer, I am here only to be helpful, to represent him who sent me. I don't need to know what to say or what to do because he who sent me will direct me. I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. I do not know the thing I am, what I am, where I am, what I am doing, or how to look upon the world or on myself. These are preludes to saying, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here in hell. So I want the spirit, him who sent me, to use the Course term, I want the truth to guide me through the world, not the ego. I don't want my ego anymore, because my ego lies to me all the time. It's like we talk about narcissistic people. Well, the ego is the biggest narcissist imaginable. It's, it's gaslighting all the time. And if I listen to it, I'm gaslighting myself. So it's not the car I want to drive. You know that great country western song? I haven't actually heard it, but I love the title, Jesus Take the Wheel.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like Jesus take the wheel and drive my car. Oh, I'm turning left. I wonder why. Oh, I missed that light. Good. I'm not supposed to be on the other side right now. I don't know where I'm going. You be in charge. I've got stuff with me that I think I'd like to do, but you be in charge of whether or not today's the day to do them. I don't know. Yeah. So surrendered.
And you and I alluded to this earlier. Actually, I think we came right out. We want to hold on to some aspects of the ego. That's the ego wanting to hold on to some aspect of the ego
That's right.
because we think we need it to set boundaries to protect us. Otherwise, if I don't have a healthy aspect of the ego, aren't people going to take advantage of me? I'm
Yeah.
going to get hurt.
That is those are seemingly valid beliefs. But what I've learned is that everything is given me when I trust the spirit in me, and in miraculous ways I could never account for, like synchronicities that I could never, ever devise. Everything is given me when I let the spirit guide me, and the right words will come out of my mouth, and I'll be in the right place. And even when scary things happen, I will know that I'm perfectly safe no matter what appears to occur. Yeah. But the ego wants, it's always seducing me with more seek and do not find idols to excite me. And my goodness, I have so many. Even, I think I've done lots in this life of healing, but I am amazed at how, just going through trying to get rid of books in my apartment to have less stuff, and I see my attachment to all kinds of books I've never even read, and I think I want them. Yeah, I think I should have them. Or I'm like, oh my God, these oils are ancient. They stink, but I've liked the look of the bottles, and I want them encased. He says not to make plans against uncertainties to come. Well, we're always making plans against uncertainties to come. We live in it. Oh, I need that. I need that. I'm going to need that. I better do this in case that happens. We plan, plan, plan. I love that he singles that out as a defense against the truth. So I love the altar meditation of just giving over everything that I think I need or anything that's on my mind and watching it dissolve in light. Just watch everything continuously dissolve in light, because that's all it is. It truly is just a formless field of love. And when we're thinking about the future or the past, our mind truly is blank. And so we're not in these stories that we think we're in. So, but that said, what we think we need will be given us. We think we need fresh tomatoes. We'll likely get some fresh tomatoes if we listen where to go.
Including protection.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
So it seems to me that the ego urges us to protect ourselves and then gives us the thing that we need to be protected from.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, always. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so well said.
And our friend, thanked you. She says, "Thank you so much," because similar realization had we questioning the point of even dealing with an ego.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, the whole like healing from my point of view is not making the ego better or more functionable. However, like if I go back to when I was in my 20s, let's say, I needed to feel like I could survive in the world and I could be a person, because it gave me some confidence that prior to that, I I wasn't ready for the teachings that I was ready for later. And it's partly because, I went out and did some things and got to feel like I could be successful. That was really important. It wasn't the right timing for me to be a course student at that point.
Funny you said that, because that's lately how I've been feeling with my channel
Mhm.
here on
Mhm.
YouTube. That unexpectedly, maybe even inadvertently, uh, I found myself ready to present the course, not through me, but through the voice of wonderful, wonderful guests such as yourself. Um, you guys do the work for me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Isn't it
It
perfect?
appeals.
I feel that way about my clients.
It appeals to my lazy personality, the lazy aspect of my ego. Um, but it, just as you said, it was for whatever reason I was ready to provide a platform for these beautiful voices to come up.
Yeah, so lovely that you're doing this. And you did. You got an inspired idea. And that comes from surrendering and saying, show me, teach me, guide me. I don't know my own best interests. I do not know what anything is for. Be in charge. And an idea drops in. Ah, you could interview course teachers and it'll deepen your own experience of the course and it'll serve the world and heal our one mind. Fantastic. I
And
can't
it's
imagine being live as much as you're live. Like, astounding.
um, I needed a uh, I needed a way to get into the muck of it. I needed my own forgiveness place,
Mm,
and
mhm.
I don't know if you've noticed that sometimes the internet is not the friendliest place in the world. Uh,
No,
um,
no.
so this was my opportunity
Mm,
to,
yeah,
to deal with the comments, to deal with the can
mhm.
I be can I be kind here? Can I be kind
Yeah,
here? Can I be kind here?
lovely.
Each moment.
Mhm.
Uh, sometimes yes, sometimes uh, I don't find myself ever being unkind, but sometimes I find myself not ready to deal with what
Sure.
might be presented, which is fine. I love how
Okay.
Kenneth Wapnick
Mhm,
says it's okay to choose the wrong teacher as
mm.
long as you know you're choosing the wrong teacher.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. And it's true, like, sometimes it's just too much. We would be obsessive compulsive if we, detailed all our grievances. And it is all right to, like, take your foot off the gas. Sometimes I watch, rom-coms or stuff. It's like, I just need to go, you know, all right, phew, I'm going offline here. And
Yeah.
I'm just going to be very, um, you know, filled up by the world. And then what happens is sometime later, I'm like, oh, I feel perky again and ready. And I can, come back into being conscious and aware. I need a break sometimes.
Um, do you have to, speaking of taking a break,
Mhm.
do you do any grounding work, meditation before you work with your patients?
I used to all the time, but I am the most grounded person. Well, I know a couple of other grounded people, but I'm extremely grounded, even when I'm having a terrible time. And I think that the oneness that's already occurred all through my vehicle is so grounded. And I understand it's not just grounding the vehicle, it's grounding every seeming molecule, every seeming adamantine particle is grounded. And what groundedness really is a coming into verticality and landing in the oneness, in the foundation, the unchanged, the heart, the presence. That's what real grounding is. And that's my, I would say that's my biggest skill. That's my, that's the thing I'm most gifted at in terms of as an extension of God's love. um, that and so, like, a lot of clients who come to me, they don't even know I'm a course teacher, but they love getting that experience of how settled they feel and at peace and centered and gentle and loved. Their inner experiences, it's not about me saying or doing anything, it's our joining in the oneness and the unity and the communication that is our spirit's oneness is why they keep coming back. Some of them become course students or something along that line. And some of them have a really active relationship with their healing, but some just come to pass out for a long time. And I love that because we travel in the oneness. We go into oneness. It's so beautiful. And that's the grounded presence of truth, of love. So I used to ground a lot more than I do now, but now I'm just there. And if I'm having a hard time, or I'm feeling like we're out of sorts, definitely I ground. But again, for me, groundedness is the oneness. It's the same thing.
So
It's the heart of God. Yeah.
the end of that, the great prayer that both you and I have mentioned, to allow me to be healed as you teach me to heal. Do you find that as a healer that you are ultimately healing yourself? You're ultimately being healed.
I am so lucky because these people come and I get to practice on every one of them. I bless. I meet my fears through what appears to be their fears. I I am like they don't even exist, let's face it. It's all my mind, healing my mind. But I can't believe it. I'm actually paid to practice the generosity of spirit and to grow and heal. And I am so grateful for this lifetime that um, that my practice also involves, quote, being a healer. I know I'm not the healer. I know I'm the healee, but I'm joined in oneness with my brothers and sisters who only appear to be um, clients, but we are one self, united with our Creator, at one
Um,
with every aspect of creation, limitless in power and in peace. That's what we are.
Speaking of connection, that brings me to a question from a friend. Um, is it our cognitive dissonance the answer for all of us? Overcome that, and we find connection.
Yeah, I would ask, in terms of cognitive dissonance, I think that's being stuck in polarities, stuck in opposites, stuck in feeling versus thought, head versus heart, et cetera, et cetera. So all the polarities. And yes, in within all the polarities, every aspect of every polarity is the same shining center. So yes, cognitive dissonance undoes in the shining center of our reality that is ever present and unchanged, unchanging, and infinite in time, space, undoes all of it. It's the same in every circumstance.
Thank you for that. All right, and Sissy had a question. I'm really looking forward to the answer. I know where we're going to go with this. What are the benefits of a healthy, balanced ego?
um, I would ask Sissy, what do you mean by healthy, balanced ego? Because if before I was a course student, I would have had a different answer. But as a course student, I don't want the ego. There is no healthy, balanced ego, but there is an ego that's healing. There is an ego that's softer and softer, even though aspects of it are even more, revealing a level of viciousness, kill or be killed. But there's also education process that's happening for the ego, for my ego, which was very much identified with my human, who appears to have a name and an address and a story. And she is more and more in trust and more in laughter, more and more in happiness because she knows she's not an ego. Yeah, but we could call that the ego identity of Julia. I go by both. Is balanced and healthy, but still moves from suspiciousness to viciousness in an instant. And so the decision maker in me is different from the ego. The decision maker says, ah, a call for love. The ego is having a kerfuffle again, and I'm going to choose the spirit. And they're actually mutually exclusive thought systems. So as soon as I choose the truth or a right-minded idea or my oneness with God or whatever you want to call it, the my reality, the miracle already happens, and the ego just got a healing. And so it's not a bad ego. It's just not real. It's an illusion.
And that's the key. That you can't have something balanced that doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
But all the wonderful things that happen with us and to us and expressed by us, that's not the ego. That's the wonderful gifts that are just being extended
Yes.
outwards. But
Oh, all the time.
and the
Yeah.
ego loves to lay claim. Without me,
Yes, it does.
you're not going to be this. You're not going to be able to do the artistic things you do. You won't be able to love. You won't be able to, the ego loves to lay claim
Yeah.
to all the good
Yeah.
as well as all the bad. But it just doesn't exist. All that wonderful stuff is still wonderful stuff. It doesn't need an ego to be wonderful.
That's right. And it actually becomes quantumly more wonderful without the ego interrupting it. I think when you were talking, I was hearing the word transparent. I think we become more and more, the ego becomes more and more transparent in terms of losing its intensity in some ways, but also our view of it. It becomes so God realized that we really don't judge it anymore. And the kindness just emanates to it and soothes it because it's terrified and it's crazy.
It would be like getting upset over a TV show. I can't believe that TV show did this to me.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
we can very much identify with the TV show, but it doesn't make the TV show real.
Right. Yeah, that's right. We're not. And as witness, what I found with certain moments in my healing journey were really big. One was realizing that there was a witness, and there was a witness behind the witness. And then kind of more and more realizing, oh, there's just infinite wholeness, love, witnessing. It's not like initially the witness felt more like a human, me, and then eventually it just became God. It just became the Spirit, Holy Spirit, and that was a really key point in my development. And another related to that was with that, my heart just became everything, and the nothing isn't that. So as that witness became that's just the holiness of my reality that was also experienced through the heart of all it is. And that's when I'm talking about that center that's the same no matter no it's all within, but whether it seems to be without or within, it's all viewing from the same place. And that's the mind outside of time and space that's dreaming the dream, and its content is not real. That's the mind that's separated, that we're healing. It's always that mind that's healing and releasing and becoming more and more identified with God or its reality, that otherwise it's repressed it and projected, so it forgets it. So working with the witness is very helpful to uh, having direct experience of our oneness. Yeah. But again, that's why I help people come back all the time, because if they're out here trying to do it intellectually, it's just words. Nice concept, maybe it helps for a while, but then we have to have a direct experience, and that's not out here. I say it's not out here in the horizontal, it's back here in the isness. Yeah.
It's a nice way of bringing us back to embodiment,
Yes.
and bringing us back to the body where we started.
Yeah.
What a wonderful way this conversation has unfolded from the body
Mhm.
to we went to spirit and we wind our way back to the body. And I love your description of embodiment.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, and we started the conversation off with this. The body is within the mind. So we're not talking about
Mhm.
physicality so much, although physicality is part of it. But
Mhm.
I guess physicality is the metaphor
Yeah.
that we could use.
It's a metaphor. That's what it is. And I really do experience it as a projected matrix. It's very architectural. And my purpose is to rest my loving awareness all through it, my loving presence all through this projected dream of individuality, personhood, or soul lifetimes for that matter. or shared soul lifetimes, the whole thing. Resting my awareness anywhere in it heals wherever I rest my awareness, because I am the holiness. And so is whatever seems to be emanating from that story. Yeah. So that's embodiment to me, and that's also grounding to me. Yeah.
Do you mind if I read your what you wrote? What is embodiment?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
This is from it's in the description, and this is on your website, which I want to mention is undergoing change, right?
Yeah, it's still there. It's juliaday.ca. It's
Okay.
still there. It's just, it's kind of big and unwieldy. I'm calling it a wild garden, but it's there.
And this is what Julia wrote. Embodiment actually has nothing to do with being a body. Rather, it means learning to rest our awareness in the quiet inner center, deep within our one self, timeless and whole, anchored vertically through all worlds, all dreams, as a grounded presence to pure love, the heart of oneness. It means knowing ourselves entirely as spirit, while we still seemingly walk in the world. And that just, it sums up uh, forgiveness. It sums up uh, so much of um, how we do things. That it's all at the level of the mind. That the body doesn't forgive another body.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a felt sense experience. Those words are coming from direct experience. And as Yeshua says in the course, that we have highly individualized experience curriculums leading to a universal experience. So I feel like I'm speaking to the universal experience. My way of getting there might be very different from someone else's, but I think ultimately we're using words to point to the same universal oneness that we all already are. Yeah.
Which brings us to, I think, the last thing to really talk about non-duality.
Yeah.
Non-duality and A Course in Miracles. There seems to be every few years a debate.
So funny.
Is it a non-dual path or isn't it a non-dual path? And yet they both point, it seems to me, to that non-dual. That at the very beginning, that nothing real can be threatened.
Nothing
Nothing unreal
unreal
exists.
exists. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, the argument, I would say, if it's an argument, because the ego loves division and conflict, and it likes to create drama wherever it goes. So that's why the conversations keep coming up. But forgiveness meets us where we dream we are. Like, forgiveness is given to us as a path for undoing the illusion of form, physicality, and time and space, and the idea of sin, guilt, and fear. So, in that sense, the material that we're working with, that we're undoing, is the material of duality. But duality is an illusion. So, the teaching itself is of oneness. And when I spoke about the mind outside of time and space that is experiencing the projection of time and space, that is non duality. But to go all the way back to heaven, where we really are, is pure non-duality. So the course is actually a pure non-dual teaching, because it's teaching about the kingdom of heaven, which will be revealed in uh, back to all of us in our seeming undoing of the story. So the difference between non-duality and pure non-duality is never incarnating again. As long as we're still incarnating, we're still identified with the mind outside of time and space that's dreaming of lifetimes. So that's the real discernment there.
right, and that's key. That we're really not talking levels or layers, but those discernments. This little shifts, little tiny shifts, and that it can happen over. I mentioned this in the conversation yesterday uh, with Liz about, for years I've read, and it was in chapter 5, section 2, that Holy Spirit is the voice of God. And I was misreading that. And I think I was
Or
misreading that because that was at the level that I was
yes.
and
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago when I went, wait a minute,
Yeah.
4. And what a huge shift that was. Very
Yeah.
minor. One word, actually only one letter, just added in and arranged a little differently.
Yeah.
Um, the voice of God is so implies this level of separation that
Mm-hmm.
I'm receiving
Yeah.
from something outside me, that I'm receiving,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even hearing commandments, maybe even hearing,
Huh.
these directives. But the voice for God, the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit is the voice of God, and the Holy Spirit resides in me,
Yeah.
meaning everything I do, every time I choose the Holy Spirit, then I am the voice for God when
Yeah.
I'm choosing the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And it was a big wow, wow,
It's very
wow.
beautiful. Lovely. Yes, exactly. And there are these key moments of, oh, now I get it. And you'll have a physical sensation of getting it, won't you? You'll feel sparkly and flowy and whoa, and a big shift happens. The light opens up all through the matrix when you go, ah, got it. Oh, that's great. And it's like landforms are falling, that were held together and now are released when you get a, a shift like that.
This is the importance, I think, of even for longtime practitioners,
Mhm.
even for people who've been mentors for others. It's always good uh, to. I know you're a course mentor, and this is why it's important for people to uh, check in with a mentor.
It helps.
Just
It
little
helps.
clarifications that
We're
we
just
might miss.
another kind of joining, really. But yeah, we're mighty companions, And so uh, in our joining, miracles happen because of our miracle mindedness. And certainly, the interlocking chain of forgiveness is also utilized this way in our those who are meant to meet will meet because together they have the potential for holy relationship. So in a mentoring situation, we're engaging special to holy in order to heal our one mind.
Um, Beautifully, beautifully said, and it fills me with a lot of joy that I was able to meet you.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you. Thank you.
and we're able to have this conversation. Um, do you think we could have this a similar conversation another time?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I love, it's very easy and I'm just here in my living room, so I can do it.
Um,
I want to remember to tell you the YouTube channel that I have. I read the lessons, and if somebody were to just even type "Course in Miracles" Julia Day or "A Course in Miracles" with Jewel, I would come up. And um, what I found, and it relates to what you were saying about the change in that word, because I'm finding images to match my experience of the lessons, a word makes all the difference often for me too. When I'm actually doing the lessons and breaking them down and having to do it 60, 70 times to get the pictures and find the pictures and get the soundtrack and feed it all together on my phone because that's how I do it. Uh, all kinds of ahas come in because I deepen in the teaching through being forced to really sit in it like a bathtub for however long it takes me to produce a lesson. So I did up to 50 or 51. And then I went back and I'm redoing some of the early ones because my technology skills were really terrible at the beginning. So I'm up to lesson 12 in my redo. So and eventually by the end of my lifetime, I'll have done all of them. I figure.
um, so one last thing,
Hmm.
uh, your own practice with the course. How is that unfolding for you now?
Oh, I'm so grateful. Um, I've had groups for a really long time, and I have 3 a week. So we practice together. That keeps me on my game because I'm the leader, so I have to I have mighty companions to play with, and I think that's been really, really helpful to my practice, having a group to practice with. In the early days, I was on Facebook a lot, and I was administrator with. I had my own group, but then I was asked to be an administrator with the biggest group at the time. There, it was huge, and I got to meet all the people in the course community and practice with them. And that's when I really got to see, you know, got to walk my talk because I got triggered a lot, but I also had it was a wonderful way to get to know who all the players were. And I, ended up on Pal Talk for about a year. And I also brought Gary Renard and other people, but I brought Gary and Cindy here 4 times to my city and hung out with them here and in other places. And so for me, the course community was a big part of keeping me course focused, because with other course students, we can use the terminology. Whereas I don't even use this terminology with a lot of my clients because they would be so it would be so alienating. I'd say Holy Spirit, and they'd be like, I don't want to go back to my Catholic childhood. So I'm given different words with different people. But to be able to practice with other people who are using the same language is a real gift. And we be vulnerable with each other. We laugh, we cry, we have a lot of retreats here. I mean, to be honest, I've probably taught close to 1,000 days,
Oh,
maybe
wow.
more of retreats. And if you put all the groups end to end, I can't imagine how many hours and days that would add on to life. So life has been really strongly anchored in the course since I realized it was the answer to my question, why am I here? Yeah.
I'm hoping to have Gary come up in December.
Oh,
Um,
You mean to where you
he's
live, or?
right here
Oh,
on the
here,
on
this,
the
the
on the little,
virtual,
yep, right in
virtual
your
tool.
seat.
Yeah. Love Gary. Yeah.
Um, and his sister-in-law Lori
Uh-huh.
is expected to
Yeah.
come up sometime
Great.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I know I had Dove Fishman who was up a couple
Hmm.
weeks ago, and
Yeah.
he mentioned about 20 years ago he was picking up the course again to start the lessons, and a clear directive to put the book aside,
Uh-huh.
um, and not to quit practicing,
Uh-huh.
but the lessons were no longer needed.
Yeah.
And now he mainly works. His mantra is lesson 25.
Uh-huh.
I know I don't know what any of this is for.
Right. Number
Um, and
25.
he works with
I do not
the
know what anything is for. Yes. Uh-huh.
and he works with lessons 200 to 220, which is a review. And
Yeah.
every review begins with, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still
Uh-huh.
as God created me. And
Yeah.
he believes that for him contains the essence of the entirety of the course and his only practice now.
So
Um,
beautiful. Yeah. That's
I
so
always
beautiful.
I
Yeah.
always mention, people say, so, you practice and you study. At the end of your life, if someone were to say to you, we have scientific proof that everything that you believed in was wrong,
Mm.
that, we have graphs and pie charts and a PowerPoint presentation, we can prove it to you scientifically. And my answer is, I don't care, because I've had a beautiful life of kindness and forgiveness. The practice has been enough for me.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt about that. And plus those charts would be wrong. But
They, they will.
another nice try.
Most charts are. I've
You'd
ultimately.
laugh. You'd laugh that away. Yeah. But that's it. To be the holy sage is very much to be, you use the handle just a yogi, I think. Is that right? Just a yogi? Is that it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so lovely because the humility is there and the willingness to do this for your own personal growth and to share it, and to be undone through the practice. And it's beautiful. Yeah,
thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you for that.
That's
Um,
the true recognition that the Father and the Son are one, is in your serving the inspiration that's given you and in this channel. So it's
I am
good
so
work.
happy that the inspiration connected me with you, and that I received that the gracious and
Mm.
beautiful, joyous. Yes, let's do it.
Joyous, joyous.
Um, and you gave me dates we can do it. We can do it today. We can do it Sunday. We can do, and you just, it's so easy. You made this entire conversation so easy and flowing.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm in the flow. Jesus got the wheel. Whoa, we're going here this morning. Oh, cool. Who's Eric? Oh, okay. Perfect.
And that's true. I want to point that out, that, you know, who's Eric? Because we had not met before.
Nope. No.
But you greeted me as if I'd known you for 20 years. And, you know, and you said, you know, we're going to let it go. We're going to see what flows, and we're going to play.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will put your YouTube channel in the description.
Thank you. Thanks.
And
that's fun. And anybody who wants to do the lessons with me there, they can. And again, I don't give any interpretation. I've asked, and you know, the lessons, they speak for themselves. Like, why would I add something to what Yeshua is saying?
Right. Right.
I think it's all perfect already, and I just want to sink into them. And so feel free, anyone who's interested, to join.
I just had this vision of someone saying, well, Jesus, I think what you mean to say.
Yeah, right.
But what Jesus really meant, you didn't mean that.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Spending time with you and your people, and let this be a gift to our eternal oneness and helpful through all dimensions of time. Right.
Can I ask you a very quick question? Our friend Tiger King has been asking, who painted that picture behind you? It's lovely.
Oh, thanks. That's Kuan Yin. Yeah. Yeah. You want to see her? There she is. Yeah. Yeah. I love her. Divine Feminine. I mean, as a feminine in this life, it's really nice to have images of feminine deities around. I rest in those images, but I also heal my inner masculine all the time and my inner child. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys. I will see you all at 5:25. We'll hang out some more. Take care, guys.
Unbelievable. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.